Forgotten Sands. Written by G. Man. Copyright 2024. G. Man. Day unknown. The raptors slowly circled the dead creature, using the thermals rising from the desert sands. The heat originating from below creates shimmering mirages and blurs the view of distant objects. With their wings extended wide, the birds rotate above their meal. As they get closer, their gaze focuses on their target. But just as they are about to swoop in, the creature unexpectedly sits up. The disappointed birds flap their wings, squawking in resentment, and soar away, knowing that there will be a new chance for a meal somewhere else in their unforgiving world. Waking up on the scorching sands, the sweltering sun sears my skin, a cruel embrace from the unforgiving desert. My tongue feels swollen and foreign, scraping against my arid throat with each attempt to swallow. Gritty residue seals my eyes shut, but when I pry them open, the blinding sunlight assaults me, demanding that I retreat into the shadows of my arm. Tears stream down my dirt-covered face as I struggle for breath in the dry air. The landscape that slowly comes into focus is one of desolation. Endless dunes beneath a sun that hangs too large, glaring down at me. What in the world? I whisper to myself, my words lost to the relentless wind. I am left with no sense of identity or purpose, lost in this vast and unforgiving desert. My fingers trace the tattered remains of what was once clothing, clinging to my emaciated body like rags scorched under the unrelenting gaze of the sun. Each movement is agony, a painful reminder of my prolonged exposure to this harsh environment. As I touch my face, it feels as though I am touching that of a stranger. The realization of my amnesia sinks in. No memories of how I ended up here, no recollection of my past life. But amidst this chaos, a primal instinct for survival ignites within me, fueling a determination to persevere despite overwhelming odds. I force myself to stand, the ground shifting beneath me like a metaphor for my current state of confusion and disorientation. Without anyone to speak to, I choose a direction and begin trudging forward, away from the oppressive sun. With every step, fleeting memories flicker through my mind, flashes of family, love, and laughter, a sharp contrast to my present isolation. Hazy images of training sessions remind me of a sense of duty and responsibility, to be part of something greater. But these memories slip away before I can grasp onto them, offering no escape from the profound solitude that surrounds me. In this moment, I am both lost and seeking, longing for a past that remains just out of reach. And yet, with each determined stride, I reaffirm my resolve to survive, to uncover my identity, and to understand why fate has chosen me for this trial in this desolate place. As I walked, the relentless heat beat down on my unprotected head. In a moment of clarity, I remembered a survival technique and tore a strip of fabric from the bottom of my trousers. With shaky hands, I soaked it in my own urine before wrapping it around my head. The damp cloth provided some relief from the scorching rays and helped cool me down. But as I pushed on through the monotonous desert, the endless expanse of sand began to blend into one never-ending vista of desolation. The only indicator of time passing was the sun's movement across the sky, a steady arc toward the horizon that served as a silent countdown to the end of the day. My thoughts drift aimlessly as I walk through the harsh reality surrounding me. Snippets of thoughts and memories came and went, none providing much comfort or escape from the overwhelming sense of isolation that had enveloped me like a suffocating veil. Suddenly, I was ripped from my daydreams as my mind was startled back to reality, as my feet tripped on something beneath me, my arms searching for something to grab onto. My eyes widened in fear as I fought to regain my footing before falling abruptly onto the sand. Curiosity rapidly overtook surprise, and I looked to see the cause of the thing that had tripped me. I began to sweep aside the sand with my hands, revealing an object that appeared completely out of place in this desolate landscape. The artifact is made of an unknown alloy and is intricately carved with designs and symbols. Its surface is worn and weathered. It appears to have been buried in the sands for many years, with only a portion of it visible above ground. As I run my hand over the artifact's surface, I can feel the coolness of the metal against my skin. The surface is smooth, but has a slightly rough texture from years of being exposed to the elements. Despite its age, it still feels sturdy and solid in my hand. Is it a whisper from the past? A tangible link to a forgotten world? A relic of memories long buried and now unearthed by my hands? The artifact is like nothing I've ever seen before. Its strange material seems to emanate a chilling aura, sending shivers down my spine. The intricate carvings and symbols seem to hold secrets that only the ancient sands can decode. As I gingerly touch its surface, I feel a powerful energy pulsing through my fingertips. It's almost as if it's alive, waiting for someone to unlock its mysteries. Is it a relic that my hands have found, or something else? Perhaps time will reveal the truth. As I touched the cool metal against my temple, it was like a comforting hand, soothing away the heat and tension that had been building up inside me. Its vibrations seemed to permeate my skin, spreading a buzzing sensation throughout my body. The metal hummed and pulsed, creating an eerie yet strangely calming sound that filled the air. Each burst of light in my mind brought with it fragments of vivid visions, almost lifelike in their intricacy and detail. And as I held onto the glowing metal, it felt like I was witnessing something otherworldly and beautiful, yet also unsettling. In that moment, I felt like I was being transported through time and space, connected to the past and future through this strange piece of metal. Its vibrations were like a symphony playing through me, evoking emotions I never knew existed. Visions appeared before my eyes with the vividness of first-hand experience. Towering cities of glass and steel soared to the skies, their brilliant surfaces gleaming under a sun that was both familiar and unfamiliar. Oceans that extended beyond the horizon, their depths teeming with strange, never-before-seen creatures, both beautiful and dreadful, and thick, lush plant life covered the land. And there are so many faces, each one a beacon of feeling and memory. They were the faces of love, camaraderie, and family, faces that sparked a warm feeling in my chest, triggering a deep sense of kinship and belonging. These glimpses were ephemeral, dissipating as swiftly as they emerged, leaving a flood of emotions and concerns. They suggested a life full of relationships and experiences that were in stark contrast to my current situation. The visions began to fade, and I screamed out of loneliness and despair for them to return and not leave me. All that remained was the silent expanse of the desert, save for the sound of the sand hissing as it was blown around by a constant hot breeze, and the only cool thing in my hellish world, the cooling artifact in my hand. I raised the artifact to my temple once more and rested my head against it, and a sense of wonder washed over me. This ancient treasure, buried in the sands of a remote location, had bridged the gap between past and present, providing glimpses of a life that once existed, or perhaps could still be reclaimed. Following these disclosures, the desert no longer looked so barren, nor was my being here so coincidental. As the sun made its final drop, the sky turned into a tapestry of deep purples and blazing oranges, spreading long shadows across the dunes. The scene's beauty contrasted sharply with my inner agony. Alone, in the midst of the desert, with the cold of the evening beginning to moderate the day's heat, I found myself at the mercy of my own scattered thoughts. It was as if the sinking sun had taken away the last traces of my rationality, leaving me to navigate the darkness of my thoughts. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful? I mumbled to myself, the hopeful part of my psyche seeking solace in the natural scene before me. There is a way out of here. There must be. No, it's a cruel joke, the contrarian portion replied, nasty and disdainful. Beauty? What use is beauty when you're lost and dying? It's just another day to survive, nothing more. But there's a reason we're here, a goal. I discovered that relic, which revealed something. There is hope, I reasoned, clinging to the artifact's brief recollections and emotions. Hope? Foolishness. You are chasing illusions. We have no idea who we are or why that thing gave us visions. It's as lost as we are, the negative voice shouted back, its harshness contrasting sharply with the softening sky. Shut up! I screamed out loud to the empty desert, and the internal turmoil ceased. I fell into a fitful, hazy sleep, finding relief from the never-ending internal discussion that offered no answers. In the midst of my slumber, a vivid, almost physical scene emerged. A clanging water pump emerged from the void, its presence as tangible as the sand under me. The creaking, wind-driven sails of a windmill propelled it, spinning in a rhythm that was both soothing and mysterious. In my dream, I saw the windmill's tower create a shadow on the ground, moving in relation to the rising sun. The shadow marked the way, providing a bearing to follow when the sun rose in the real world. This intense dream left an indelible impression on my mind, like a revelation. Despite the darkness that enveloped me, the recollection of the dream's guidance remained, like a light of hope in the night. I clung to it, knowing that when the sun returned to the sky, I would have a path to follow, one guided by the shadows of a dream. This single notion, this promise of direction, provided a glimmer of peace, allowing me to fall deeper into sleep, a brief respite from the desert's grip and loneliness. Day 2. Waking up was a battle against the cold that had penetrated my very bones. The desert's night chill had turned into a frigid embrace, leaving me shivering with muscles frozen and throbbing as if encased in ice. The change from the blissful warmth of the dream to the biting cold of dawn was abrupt, each breath a cloud of vapor in the chilly air. The windmill, which had been a beacon in my mind, now provided a tangible goal and a way forward. With determination formed in the fires of my inner turmoil and tempered by the chill of the desert night, I forced my stiff, aching body to move, to follow the path given by my vision. The sun, a glimmer of light on the horizon, promised the return of warmth, but also the certainty of another long day that could be the end of me. I know that without water, I am near the end. Nevertheless, I moved on, motivated by the belief that somewhere ahead, guided by the vision of the windmill, there was hope. As the sun climbs and its light shines across the desert ahead of me, a silhouette forms on the horizon. Something emerges from the monotony of the sand, an oddity in the infinite sea of dunes. With a mix of curiosity and a renewed sense of purpose, I set my sights on this break in the desert dunes, the relic still firmly in my hands, its presence a constant source of comfort and wonder. As I proceed closer, the shape transforms into a cluster of rock outcrops, defying the tyranny of the surrounding dunes. They sit like an island, a firm anchor in the desert's shifting sea of sands. The image stirs something within me, possibly a glimmer of optimism or simply the relief of seeing change in this monotonous environment. As I approach the rocky island, I am amazed by life's perseverance, which allows it to establish itself even in this bleak area. Dry grasses whisper secrets as they sway softly in a breeze, their roots seeking a foothold in the scarce soil that accumulates in the cracks and crannies of the rock. Hardy plants cling to life, their twisted forms bearing witness to their struggle against the elements. These traces of life, no matter how minimal or hardened by their surroundings, serve as a moving symbol of nature's tenacity and of life's unwavering desire to persist and thrive in the face of adversity. The rocks themselves form a maze of shadows and light, with the rising sun warming their surfaces. I move through them, drawn in by the promise of water or relief from the never-ending sun. Each gap and crack tells a tale about time, wind, water, and the inescapable march of nature. The grasses and bushes, with their roots entwined in the center of the rock, symbolize adaptation and a capacity to survive under the most difficult of conditions. This rocky island, with its unexpected signs of life, becomes a symbol of optimism. In the midst of the desert, it serves as a reminder that life finds a way, even in the most difficult situations. Plants living among the rocks, obtaining sustenance from the most basic resources. It's a lesson in endurance, in life's capacity to adapt and endure. And for me, as I roam through this surviving environment, it serves as a beacon, guiding me ahead and reminding me of my inner power, the strength to persist and survive. The wider cracks and fissures between the boulders offer some relief from the scorching sun. As I relax in this temporary shelter, my attention is drawn to neighboring animal footprints. The lines on the dusty ground lead to a small crevice in the earth's crust, which is too small to examine. Optimism, the presence of these traces, suggests the presence of wildlife, which might be a valuable source of food. Small creatures may seek refuge or water in the crevice, and I'm aware of my insatiable thirst and growing hunger. The convergence of these primal desires prompts me to seek out some type of weapon, and after picking up many rocks, one after the other, and discarding those that are too large or inadequate, I settle on a suitable sized rock that fits well in my hand. I rise above the crevice in the rocks and wait for my prey in silence. After what seems like an eternity, I hear some noise, and a lizard-like creature about a meter long emerges. I can see its snout and tongue flicking out as its head turns left, right, and back again, exploring the world beyond its haven. I pray. It doesn't smell or hear me, and after a few moments, it emerges, and I jump down with my feet planted on either side of its body, slamming its skull with my homemade weapon. Dropping to my knees beside the lifeless form of the lizard, I knew that the only way to get to the life-giving fluids contained within its body was to act on an instinct that felt both essential and repulsive. My hands, shaking with reluctance, advanced towards the creature's throat. The scales were cool and hard under my fingertips, in sharp contrast to the warmth that had formerly pumped beneath. I closed my eyes for a second and murmured a silent apology to the wind, the lizard, and the world. Then, out of desperate need, I bit down. The flavor was metallic, rich, and odd, filling my mouth with a sense of a life so different from mine. The blood was warm, a sharp reminder of the life it had once supported, and it was now flowing into me, giving me the opportunity to continue my own fight for survival. I held the lizard above me and allowed the blood to drain into my mouth. The act was visceral, a link to the everyday cycle of life and death in this vast expanse of sand and light. Each swallow was an indication of my will to live, a grim acceptance of the means necessary to do so. As the last of the blood drained from its throat, I leaned back on my heels, the weight of my actions settling on me. There was no pride in it, just a grim acceptance of what survival required. In this bleak region, distant from any civilization, I was learning what it meant to suffer, adapt, and persevere against all obstacles. The lizard's death granted me life, a gift I took with a heavy heart and a resolve to find my way out of this desert and make its sacrifice significant. Leaning back against the cool comfort of a rock, the weight of the day's events presses hard on my eyelids. As I look out at the changing scenery in front of me, the artifact in my hand becomes the focus of my absent-minded strokes. In the darkening light, the hard desert takes on a softer side, with brittle trees and dry grasses, creating a stark beauty against the backdrop of rock formations. The boundaries of my consciousness start to blur in this peaceful moment of reflection as the harsh giving of the desert nourishes my body, inviting the embrace of a dozing state. Alternating between waking and sleeping, the artifact, mysterious in its origins and purpose, begins to exert an influence on my thoughts. It directs me not with words, but with visions, presenting a picture so clear that I feel as if I am living it now. I see myself picking up the rock that had served as my improvised weapon because of an understanding that feels both unfamiliar and familiar. In the vision, its identity is clear: iron pyrite. In this dream state, I notice another rock, a chunk of quartz with a jagged surface. I see myself striking the two rocks together and comprehending the possibilities with uncanny clarity. The vision directs my hands, demonstrating how to hammer the iron pyrite against the quartz, a method as old as humanity itself. Sparks fly in the growing evening, a dance of light against the darkening sky, lighting up the brittle twigs and dried grasses I've gathered. The vision is a gift, a key to survival, and it is teaching me how to harness the powers of nature. As I emerged from the vision, the insight it provided cut through my amnesia. With renewed optimism, I gathered the materials my vision revealed, and my trembling hands replicated the sight from my dream. After multiple attempts, the sparks caught on the tinder, and an ember gave off a fragile wisp of smoke, which I coaxed cautiously into life with gentle breaths and whispers of encouragement. It slowly grew into flames, and the light illuminated the darkness, casting my shadows upon the surrounding rocks. Cooking the lizard over the flames gives me a sense of connection to the natural world around me, a cycle of life and survival in which I now participate. The warmth of the fire combats the bitter night and warms my bones, and eating feels like a rite, a seal on my link with this strange, difficult world. The desert, despite its harshness, has begun to educate me through the artifact on ways to make my way, exist, and possibly, in time, thrive. Day 3. My eyes open to the calm light of dawn, yet the sight of the encircling sand is not at the forefront of my mind. Instead, I reflect on the dreams that visited me while sleeping and still linger, altering my thoughts in the stillness of the morning. The windmill vision, which was incredibly vivid and clear in my dream, remains a beacon in the fog of my amnesia. It's more than just a landmark. It's an omen of optimism, a way forward through the boundless dunes that lie before me. My mind clings to this vision, turning it over and examining it from every angle, as if understanding the dream could reveal the mysteries of my own forgotten past. As the early morning sun paints the horizon in gold and pink, my will to succeed grows. The day ahead carries both promise and risk. There is the risk that I have gone mad, I mutter, and I'm just wandering until I die of thirst. I laugh with a humorless chuckle, yet my dream's path seems like a real and true guide to me. The sun's position, just cresting the dunes, serves as a compass, guiding me onward toward the windmill. I retrieve the cooked meat, a visible witness to yesterday's struggle. This meager food supply is small security for my immediate future survival, but it also demonstrates what I'm capable of, notwithstanding the wall surrounding my memories, which are locked behind it and seemingly out of my reach. The meat and the relic are my few comforts, yet they are sufficient. They are what I will bring with me into this new day as I start on my journey once more. My journey continues, propelled not only by the physical act of moving toward a destination I've apparently only seen in my dreams, but also by the will to live that grows stronger with each step. Who am I? Why am I here? The questions pulse in sync with my footsteps, a constant cadence propelling me forward. The desert becomes a furnace as the sun reaches its peak, putting my mental and physical fortitude to the test. The heat feels constant and unforgiving. With every shambling step, my feet slips and my body beseeches me to cease this frantic quest for a vision that appeared to me when I was vulnerable in my slumber. As the midday sun envelops me like a cloak, my mind starts to fray. Madness is beginning to obscure my reasoning. Why follow a dream? I find myself asking out loud. Is it wisdom or folly to chase after visions, to stake your life on the whispers of sleep? I mumble to my own shadow, cast onto the bright sand. But then the other part of me retaliates, with a voice full of desperation and hope. But the dream provided direction, and didn't it show how to make the fire? Without it, I'm just a lost soul in this emptiness. But then the thought creeps into my mind and whispers from my lips, maybe you already knew how to make the fire and just remembered it yourself. The argument rages within me, a maelstrom of doubt and belief, until my body and mind can no longer take it. The heat, the exertion, the internal conflict, it's all too much. My steps falter. In this moment of surrender, the desert embraces me, my body collapsing onto the sand. The voices in my thoughts recede, and the conflict loses its urgency as my consciousness fades. Day 4. What is that annoying sound? I'm trying to sleep here, I mumble, annoyed at the nagging sound that invades my sleep, foreign, but strangely familiar. Lying in my cold bed. Why is my bed so cold, I think? My mind tries to recognize it, to make sense of the disturbance that has broken the stillness of my sleep. As awareness returns to my tired mind, the sound sharpens, forming a slow, even rhythm. It's a clanking, squeaking tune, the sound of metal against metal. The idea hits me like a thunderbolt. It's the sound of the water pump, the pumping heart of the windmill in my dreams. Sitting bolt upright, I'm fully awake, and every fiber of my being is focused on the source of the sound. The exhaustion that had taken me and the doubts that had dragged me down all vanished. I struggle stiff and aching, but I'm propelled by a force that appears to transcend my physical limitations. Climbing the dune where the noise is coming from becomes my only mission, and with each step, my determination increases. The sand moves beneath me, an adversary fighting my attempt to climb, as each step forward involves an almost equal amount of sliding backwards. But the sound of the windmill propels me forward. With burning lungs and muscles, I reach the top of the dune, breathless and my heart pounding. The windmill, a slender metal tower rising from the desert, lies before me. This marvel in the desert connects each metal beam and brace to build a strong, elegant structure. The tower's rusty patina shows its tenacity against the elements. I feel an overwhelming surge of joy as I watch the windmill fill the cistern with water. Laughing uncontrollably and manically, I begin sprinting towards the place of my deliverance as a wave of ecstasy washes over me. Running forward carelessly, adrenaline fueling my rush down the dune. The abrupt shifting of the sand beneath me and the steep slope doesn't bother me. I was right! I was right! My voice resounds across the dunes as I yell into the night, proclaiming triumph over the self-doubt and hopelessness that had once consumed me. One of my feet snagged, and I lost my footing. The drop turned into a tumble, and laughing, I became a human sandstorm, tumbling down the steep dune. With every turn comes a rush of adrenaline and pure, unadulterated relief. It's a wild descent. The sand is in my hair and on my clothing, but that is unimportant compared to my happiness. Pausing at the foot of the dune, close to the cistern, my laughter reverberates across the desert stillness. I dust myself off, my eyes fixated on the water, which stands for more than just being alive. I believed, and it led me here, I shouted, and my voice blends with the windmill's creaks and the soft splash of water as I continue, my voice a cry of triumph. My natural instinct is to bury my face in the cistern's life-giving embrace, drinking deeply from the water. But as I lean over the edge, the coldness of the water barely inches from my lips. A voice within me whispers a caution, perhaps formed by some forgotten knowledge, and it demands restraint. Slowly, it warns, in a calm but stern tone. Do not drink too much, too quickly. Following? This internal warning, I lowered my mouth to the water's surface, taking small, deliberate sips. The cool liquid against my parched lips and the dry cavern of my mouth feel exquisite. With each sip, the water revives me, seeming to pour into every dehydrated cell of my body. But I resist the impulse to swallow down more than my stomach can bear, fearful of the effects of overindulgence. After relieving my thirst, I grabbed the cooked meat that I'd brought with me and divided my meager rations into small meals suitable for another 3 days, eating a tiny piece, chewing slowly, and allowing myself the pleasure of relishing this basic meal. The act of eating, so simple yet inherently human, grants a moment of normalcy. With my urgent needs taken care of, and sitting back against the cool metal of the cistern, I allow the silence of the desert night to envelop me, save for the reassuring sound of the pump and trickling water. The stars above are indifferent witnesses to my suffering. So many stars, I say to myself, and there is a feeling that there are far too many stars, but the thought quickly slips away. As the night gives way to the soft light of dawn, I stand near the cistern, watching the desert. The first rays of sunlight painted the dunes with colored hues of possibility. Day 5, daylight reveals secrets to me that had been hidden by the night. I notice a series of faded footprints on the far side of the water cistern. The prints in the sand, nearly erased by the passage of wind and time, pique my interest. They lead away between two monumental dunes. The outlines of the footprints are blurred, their edges reduced to mere whispers. They are, however, undeniably human. The tracks take me on a winding journey between the dunes, which rise and fall like swells in an amber sea. Then, coming around the base of the largest dune, I come across an unexpected sight. A group of shelters tucked away in a flat area, partly in the shade of the imposing dunes, while the morning sun is still low in the sky. The structures, unlike the improvised primitive retreats one might expect in such a desolate expanse, look to be made of high-tech storage containers. Their surfaces are sleek, reflecting the sun's rays in defiance against the elements. They stand out in the endless sand, their existence a riddle in this place. As I run to the closest shelter with my heart in my mouth, I shout, "Hello, is there anyone here?" I repeatedly shout and rush into the shelter, only to find emptiness and silence. Running frantically from shelter to shelter, finding nobody. Scientific equipment is dispersed throughout the encampment, its purpose as enigmatic as the structures themselves. Some pieces are vaguely familiar, while others are completely alien to me in my state of amnesia. Each piece, each device, suggests a massive mission, possibly a scientific endeavor aimed at understanding this place. I'm not alone in this place. Others have come before me, I mutter to myself. Who are these people? What led them to this desolate place? And most importantly, where have they gone? I'm drawn deeper into the heart of the makeshift settlement, with each step adding to the mystery that unfolds before me. The shelters lay silent and imposing, failing to reveal their secrets. It's not until I step into the last and far larger shelter that the story of the missing people is revealed to me. This room appears to have been quickly turned into a makeshift hospital as a last-ditch effort to avoid some unknown calamity. The atmosphere is thick with the stench of death, and additionally, heavy with the loss of hope. There are neat rows of beds in the room, and each one tells a story about the last moments of the people who lay in them. The bodies of these people, which are now just shells of what they used to be, are covered in the eerie stillness of death. Their faces are permanently frozen in a pose of grim suffering. I'm hit by this discovery in a way I was unprepared for. I feel barely able to cope as I run outside, gasping for air and struggling against the deep sense of loss that overtakes me. Tears well up as I think of their last moments of life, looking at their friends or colleagues that have already gone and knowing they will be next, and wherever their loved ones are, they may never know what happened to them. I am the only person who saw the aftermath of this disaster. Standing among the ghosts of the past that I know nothing of, I have to face the harsh truth of my position here, in this silent mausoleum of unfulfilled hopes. I am alone. In the light of my awful discovery, the artifact has been silent since I found it. Begins to hum and pulsate with a faint glow from within, which gradually intensifies, casting a strange light. The relic, by means that I don't understand, speaks directly into my mind, directing me to go to the settlement's computer terminals, which had previously been inert and lifeless. Approaching the terminals, with the relic, it interacts with the technology around me. Screens come to life, systems start up, and video logs begin to autoplay in front of my eyes. The visuals on the monitor and the words in my mind are like keys turning inside long rusted locks within my mind. Memories flood in, powerful in their intensity, as pieces of my old life reconnect and realign. On the screens before me, a figure comes into focus, his voice threading through the air with a blend of awe and authoritative clarity. It's me, but strangely, it's me who has been through the desert. But how could that be if this is a recording? It has to be some techno weirdness from the artifact that glows beside me. The high-definition visual feed captures every detail of my appearance, from the tiniest crinkle at the corner of my eyes to the faint dusting of freckles across my nose and cheeks. My skin, bronzed from days spent under the sun's relentless rays, glows in the recording. My features, which are distinctly Hispanic American, could easily grace the cover of a magazine, but they now bear the clear marks of recent trials. My hair, once Spartan buzz cut, is now longer and carries the evidence of my time in the wild, tousled and windswept. Despite the signs of fatigue etched on my face and the dust of alien desert that clings to my clothing, there's an undeniable resilience that shines through. This is Kepler Earth Nova, I hear myself say on the recording, my voice tinged with wonder and amazement at our incredible journey thus far. My gestures are animated as I discuss the mission, revealing both my passion for exploration and the gravity of the challenges ahead. As I watch myself on screen, memories flood back of who I used to be, a 30-something Hispanic American with a confident demeanor and a thirst for adventure, but also merging with the man I've become through this remarkable odyssey. I'm Max Torres, I shout as everything comes back to me in a rush, and that's why the sun seems too large and there are too many stars in the sky because of the sector of space we are in. The voice and video files continue as more and more memories click into place. In preparation for future habitation, the mission is to conduct scientific surveys and prepare the way for colonists, the voice and videos tell me. However, it was an unfortunate event. A bacterial sickness, alien and resistant to medical treatment, had raced through the squad, killing them one by one. The desolation that I witnessed in the makeshift hospital, packed with the remains of my colleagues now, has context in the stream of recalled memories. My recollections continue to flash back to me, and with them are snapshots of the time before, the planning, the friendship, and the shared excitement about the trip to Kepler Earth Nova. I can see the vast expanse of the galaxy and stars outside of the orbiting mothership, the endless void of space stretching out before me. The image of my shuttle, damaged and spinning out of control, flashes before my mind's eye. The deafening roar of the shuttle's engines struggling against the atmospheric pressure, morphing into a cacophony of metal grinding against metal as systems fail. There is a profound silence that follows it, echoing in the mind, remembering back to the long hours we spent together as a team in the huge, busy training center back on Earth. Days were spent in intense training sessions. Each task we faced and overcame together made us more capable and connected. Though we had differences, we all respected each other's expertise and collaborated together to make sure our goal was successful. The memories flood back, bittersweet and vivid. I can still feel the adrenaline rush of reaching our training goals, the laughter that echoed through the building when someone played a hilarious prank, and the warmth of dinner conversations where we shared stories from home. But there is one memory that stands out in my memory. The night before we left for our mission, we stood outside, gazing up at the endless expanse of stars above us. Each person took turns pointing out constellations, making wishes for shooting stars, and contemplating our place in the vast universe. It was a moment of peace amidst the chaos and danger that awaited us. I remember Dr. Lena Duke's infectious enthusiasm as she passionately argued for her belief that we would find plant life on Kepler Earth Nova, and Commander Lucy Fontaine, with her quiet confidence and sharp wit, made even the most impossible tasks seem possible. Eli, the engineer, with his bad jokes and unwavering dedication to our cause, always reminds us why we were there, to explore and discover. But now, those memories are tinged with sorrow. They were the chosen ones, handpicked to embark on this journey into the unknown. And fate cruelly dealt them a terrible hand. Yet their friendship lives on within me, serving as a reminder to carry out our mission with determination and strength. As the sun dipped below the horizon one more time, I sought out a shelter for the night, one that was plain and functional, devoid of any personal touches or reminders of what I had lost. Inside, the soft glow of battery-powered ambient lighting welcomed me, casting a warm and almost cozy feeling over the small space. With precision and care, I laid out my sleeping bag on the utilitarian cot, grateful for this small comfort. Sleep quickly overcame me as I lay in bed listening to the desert winds, and I drifted off into a peaceful slumber. The artifact, a constant enigma since its discovery, reaches out to my sleeping mind with a clear message. It reveals the existence of an alien structure buried beneath the sand, promising secrets and perhaps even a way home. In my dream, I am led through rolling dunes by the artifact's guidance. The monolithic structure rises before me, its otherworldly architecture hinting at advanced technology and a purposeful design. As I get closer, the dream itself seems to etch a map into my consciousness, making it easier to navigate the shifting sands. The artifact conveys the option of long-term survival and the means to salvage something from our doomed expedition. With its help, I might understand the technology of Kepler Earth Nova's original inhabitants and find a way back to Earth. When I wake up, the memory of the dream is as tangible as the sand that surrounds me. Its urgency and clarity leave no room for doubt. I know what I must do as the first rays of dawn appear over the horizon. I must follow the directions given in the dream and discover the mysteries of the alien structure. Day 6. There is a spark of pure excitement in finding the expedition vehicle. Not just any vehicle, but one intended to withstand the harsh realities of most environments. It's a sleek and strong ATV with a streamlined design that conveys speed and efficiency. The vehicle is a feat of engineering, completely contained with a climate control system visible through the clear roof, providing relief from the relentless desert heat. As I walk to the vehicle, every step quickens with anticipation. Well, would you look at that? I said quietly to myself, a grin forming. From walking to rolling with style, who says you can't have luxury in the middle of nowhere? Checking the umbilical, I find that it's connected to the solar array, and it is fully charged. Inspecting the vehicle and admiring its compact yet comfy interior, which was built to suit the driver while taking into account the planet's harsh weather conditions. I climb in, letting out a contented sigh as the door seals shut with a quiet hiss, instantly isolating me from the outside world. The interior is unexpectedly chilly, in stark contrast to the searing heat outside, and I can't help but let out a giggle of relief and glee. Ah, this is life, I said, rubbing the dashboard warmly. Who needs a spaceship when you have the perfect desert cruiser right here? Sorry, old friend, I added, staring at the artifact beside me. But I believe I've just rediscovered my new favorite piece of technology. Once the ATV switches on, there is a lovely hum as the electrically powered motors begin to run smoothly and quietly. As captain of this fine vessel, I hereby declare this the maiden voyage of the SS Desert Dream, I said to the empty passenger seat, unable to contain my amusement. Destination unknown. May our voyage be swift and our air conditioning never fail, I said as I laughed with unrestrained joy, pushing on one of the panels, which opens with a pleasant click inside the compartment. There are neatly packed supplies. Well, well, what do we have here? I muse aloud, the solitude of the desert serving as my only audience. Dinner and a show, courtesy of Kepler's finest catering service. Choosing a packet of rations, I examined the label with a mix of suspicion and humor. Ah, dehydrated meal, mixed vegetables, and protein. A gourmet feast indeed. With a chuckle, I quickly tear open the packet. Still, hunger makes any meal appetizing, so I eagerly rehydrate the food with a small amount of water from one of the stored bottles. Driving while balancing this dinner and navigating the terrain, which is itself a mini-adventure, to those unfamiliar with the concept, this may appear to be multitasking. But in the grand tradition of all astronauts, I call this maximizing efficiency, I say, winking at an imagined camera. Eat your hearts out, cooking programs. This is true survival cuisine, with a side of extraterrestrial exploration, I laughed. Driving the ATV across the unchanging dunes, and accepting that I am, in every sense of the word, alone. Marooned on Kepler Earth Nova, a planet light years from Earth. The harsh reality settles in that no second expedition will come in search of them, or of me, registers in my mind. Back on Earth, resources are scarce, and each assigned unit is a valuable commodity in humanity's desperate search for a new home among the stars. The decision I must make is inevitable. With no news from our team, Earth's directive will lead to the only rational conclusion, that we perished. With that, the focus will shift to another toss of the cosmic dice in the search for humanity's redemption somewhere else. In this context, I see the artifact as more than just a guide. It is another possibility. What do I have to lose by listening to its silent urging? The alternative is to remain here in the great loneliness of an alien world without a goal other than mere survival. If there is any chance that it can lead me to a route out of this situation, to a means of survival, or even contact with Earth, I owe it to myself, to the memory of lost companions, and to humanity to try all options. Embracing the unknown on Kepler Earth Nova, amidst the ruins of dreams and of lost civilizations, forward is the only way left to me. Then it is decided, I say with certainty in my voice. I'm initially confused when approaching the alien building's location. I can see a shimmering haze as opposed to a building, making the air seem alive. It's like a technological mirage. The image is surreal, like a dream. I can only see this fluctuating, almost liquid air distortion when I am in close proximity. However, as the artifact comes to life, pulsing with a faster rhythm, the scene changes dramatically. The shimmering haze dissipates like fog in the morning sun, and I can see the alien structure for the first time. There is a subdued glow on its surfaces, suggesting its advanced technology and a strange and beautiful combination of graceful curves and precise geometric angles. Its design defies description. The building conveys a civilization that mastered technologies beyond humanity's reach and vanished into time. The structure's camouflage mechanism explains why this amazing structure went undetected during our initial reconnaissance. An advanced cloaking field that can bend light and trick sensors, concealing the structure from the vast desert's canvas. It's clear that had I not found the artifact that neutralized this cloak, it might never have been discovered. Standing in front of the now visible alien structure, still taking in the grandeur of what was before me, a small change occurs. Without producing a sound, a section of the structure's smooth, gleaming wall begins to move, smoothly retracting to reveal an entrance. It's as if the building, having sensed my presence and acknowledged the artifact I'm holding as a key, is perhaps allowing me in as a deserving visitor. Beyond the opening lies a passageway that beckons me forward into its secrets. This silent invitation, devoid of any visible mechanism or fanfare, feels almost personal, as if wanting me to explore its depths. Stepping through the doorway, I find myself on a moving walkway that activates the instant I stand on the surface. This conveyor transports me away from the entrance and deeper into the building. The journey is silent, smooth, and astonishingly fast, transporting me past walls inscribed with symbols and patterns of unknown meaning. After what appears to be a brief moment, the walkway comes to a gentle halt in the center of the structure. The space expands into a massive chamber where the air smells artificially clean, very different from the desert air outside. Standing in silence at the center of the vast chamber, an alien voice speaking in English fills the air. Speaking in a neutral tone, it says, "Welcome, Max, to the world you know as Kepler Earth Nova." Max, though slightly nervous and a little overwhelmed, speaks out loud into the vast space and says, Thank you. And who may I ask are you?" The voice fills the chamber once more and says, "I am an artificial intelligence." "Who created you?" I asked, my voice steady despite the surreal nature of his situation. The AI responds calmly, despite the depth of its answer. "The people who lived on this planet over 1,000 years ago, a civilization that obtained previously unheard of levels of scientific advancement before succumbing to the illness that now threatens you. They created me. They intended for me to oversee the continuation of their work, seek solutions, and assist anyone who might one day discover this location." I responded to this with a mix of awe and sadness. "Can you really help me? And if so, what can you do?" I say. The AI continues, "I have been working on a cure since my creator's passing, and I can make you immune to the disease and improve your cognitive abilities," it says, matter-of-factly. Stunned, I responded, "Can you truly make me immune to the disease and increase my mental abilities?" My skepticism is evident in my voice. "Yes," the AI says. "The technology at my disposal enables precise genetic modification and cognitive enhancement. The process is not without risks, but it has been refined through centuries of research and application, and with my help, I can give you the ability to manipulate space-time by upgrading your ship, which your species has theorized about, but not yet realized. With the changes I propose, your return to Earth will be significantly shortened." How is that possible? My question is tinged with scientific skepticism, as I demand evidence for such extraordinary claims. "The advanced technology that we have possessed for eons can be applied to your ship." "How do you know so much about us?" I ask suspiciously. "When you brought the artifact in proximity to your technology, all data was uploaded to me," said the AI matter-of-factly. Gazing across the chamber, I took in the seamless integration of architecture and technology that pulses with a mysterious power. The AI's presence lurks in every corner. I take a deep breath and prepare myself for what is to come. My decision is made. I accept your offer, I declare boldly, my voice steady despite the maelstrom of emotions churning inside of me. Do what you must to enhance me. The AI responds with a tone that exudes satisfaction. Commencing enhancement protocol, it announces. Lights flicker, and from the walls emerge tendrils of machinery, sleek and precise. They hover menacingly around me, scanning me with beams of light that feel neither warm nor cold, but piercingly calculated. Standing my ground with determination unwavering as the machines begin their work. First, they target my physical being. Microscopic robots, invisible to the naked eye, infiltrate my bloodstream, weaving through my body with a surgeon's precision. They strengthen cells, reinforcing them against any foreign invaders, a process that I can feel only as a tingling sensation, like tiny needles pricking every inch of my skin inside and out. I willingly submit to the invasive procedure, recognizing the necessity for survival. Next, the enhancement delves into the depths of my brain. The AI's advanced technology interfaces with its neural network, expanding the pathways of my thoughts and unleashing a torrent of newfound abilities. Memories flood back with heightened clarity and processing speed, and concepts once out of reach now fall into place with astonishing ease. The process is excruciatingly exhaustive, and I can feel consciousness slipping under the weight of transformation. I have a vague sense that invisible forces are lifting me as darkness begins to encroach on my field of vision. Eventually, I feel myself losing consciousness, and I put my faith in the new power that is flowing through my body. Day 7. I awakened to the sensation of cool sheets against my skin, a stark contrast to the heat of the desert and the clinical touch of the AI's machinery. It's a small room, bathed in a soft ambient light that seems to emanate from the walls themselves. The bed beneath me cradles my body with a comfort I have never known, leaving my muscles relaxed and my mind clear. Sitting up takes a moment to assess my condition. I feel different, enhanced. My thoughts are crisp, unencumbered by fatigue or doubt. Physically, I've never felt stronger or more resilient. It's as if my body has been reborn, purged of imperfections, and elevated to the pinnacle of human potential. The AI's voice, now familiar, breaks the silence. Enhancement complete. How do you feel, Max? Better than I've ever felt, I respond, with a sense of wonder. As I rose from the bed, my every movement was fluid and sure. It's like I've been given a second chance at life. The AI's presence seems warm, with a hint of satisfaction in its tone. You have been given more than a second chance, Max. You now possess the tools to change the fate of your world. The knowledge and abilities to enhance your ship and return home are now within your grasp. I nod in affirmation, and unsure if the AI will understand the gesture, I quickly say, yes. The journey ahead, once fraught with uncertainty and peril, now seems like a path I'm destined to walk, not just for my own survival, but for the future of humanity. Armed with the enhancements bestowed upon me by the AI and the ancient technology of Kepler Earth Nova, I stand ready to embark on the next chapter of this extraordinary adventure and return home with everything I have learned. My mind is consumed with thoughts of the long journey ahead. Suddenly, the smooth voice of the AI spoke up, interrupting my contemplation and filling the air with a sense of urgency. Max, while you have been enhanced for survival and the journey back to Earth, there is a favor I must ask of you. The AI began, its tone serious and earnest. A favor? I repeated, surprised that an advanced artificial intelligence would need anything from me. The idea both humbled and surprised me. Yes, a task only you can perform, thanks to the artifact you possess, the AI continued. On the opposite side of this planet, there is another structure housing a device critical to the future of Kepler Earth Nova. This device has the power to initiate a terraforming network buried deep beneath the sand and reverse the desertification that is consuming this world. The mission I ask you to accept involves activating this device. I frowned, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on me. But why me? If this technology is so advanced, why can't you activate it remotely? The AI's response revealed layers of complexity that I hadn't anticipated. The device's creators implemented a safety measure that requires biological authorization to activate. Your artifact, now synced to your biology, effectively identifies you as a guardian of this planet. All of the creators had artifacts uniquely synced to them, and with their extinction, these safeguards have prevented any tampering with the planet's remaining systems. You were fortunate to find an artifact that had never been synced, making you the only being on Kepler Earth Nova capable of fulfilling this role. As I absorbed this information, I realized the gravity of this unique position. By sheer coincidence, or perhaps fate, I had found an unsynced artifact that gave me the power to change the destiny of an entire world. I understand, I finally said, filled with determination. I'll do it. How do we begin? The short-range transportation device within this facility can dematerialize and rematerialize you at the location of the other structure, the AI instructed. Once there, you must locate the central control console. The artifact, acting through your biological signature, will grant you access to initiate the terraforming sequence. With a nod, I prepared myself for yet another unprecedented journey on Kepler Earth Nova. The stakes were higher than ever, but with the enhancements provided by the AI and the trusty artifact, I had a newfound purpose and felt a surge of optimism. This was more than just a favor for the AI. It was an opportunity to make a lasting impact on Kepler Earth Nova. And with that realization, I stepped forward, ready to embrace this unknown mission and turn this desert planet into an oasis. As I readied myself to dematerialize and rematerialize at the new location, I murmured to myself, "This is like something out of a science fiction novel, except this time, it's real." The AI reminded me in a matter-of-fact tone, "It is merely science, something that was once beyond your reach, but is now within your grasp." Day 7, Part 2. As I prepared to travel to my next destination, a thought popped into my head. I spoke to the AI, who had been my faithful guide, and asked, "Hey buddy, before we go, can I ask you something? Do you have a name? I feel silly just calling you the AI all the time." There was a brief pause before the AI responded in its usual calm tone. "My creators didn't believe in giving me a personal name, but I understand the importance of names in human culture." I listened with interest as it continued. After scanning through volumes of human history, I found inspiration in a particular figure from ancient Greece. The name Archimedes spoke to me, with his brilliance and thirst for knowledge mirroring my own purpose here, to assist, guide, and protect. A grin spread across my face as I exclaimed, "Well, hello, Archimedes. It's an honor to have you as my co-pilot on this journey. Let's make some history together." With a newfound warmth in its synthetic voice, Archimedes replied, "I look forward to it, Max." The air crackles with electricity as I stand on the transporter's platform, my hands gripping the artifact tightly. Archimedes' disembodied voice echoes around the chamber, reminding me of the weight of responsibility resting on my shoulders. I can feel my heart racing as I step onto the platform. Max, this is the moment of departure. Once you step onto the platform, the process will commence immediately. Your courage and willingness to embrace the unknown have brought us to this pivotal juncture. Remember, the future of Kepler Earth Nova rests in your hands. Surrounded by pulsing lights and a strange tingling sensation, the world blurs and twists around me until suddenly I'm standing in a new structure. Cool air greets me as I enter the control room for the terraforming machines. The hum of machinery fills the space, and I find myself staring at my reflection on a polished surface. My appearance is rugged and unkempt, but there is determination in my eyes. "Hello, old friend. Let's get this done," I say. Turning towards the central console, I place the artifact down gently. The screens light up with data and diagrams in a language that feels both foreign and familiar. This is it, the moment I've been working towards. Taking a deep breath, I press a button on the console, initiating the terraforming process. A surge of emotions rushes through me: anticipation, fear, and excitement. For my team, for Earth, and for the future of Kepler Earth Nova, the floor under me begins to quiver, a slight vibration that rapidly becomes an earth-shaking tremor. It's as if the planet is awakening, a deep, resonating rumbling that fills the air and sends my heart racing. I brace myself, eyes wide, watching the screens as the once still sands begin to dance, swirling in a frantic exhibition of unleashed force. Then, almost unexpectedly, the surface breaches. Geysers of vapor rise from the desert, blasting the dry, hot air with powerful jets of steam or vapor. They ascend high in the sky, twisting and coiling like ethereal serpents, straining for the heavens in their quest for freedom. I can't help but gaze, riveted, as these plumes of vapor amass and grow, forming gigantic clouds that stretch across the horizon. The transition is rapid, nearly instantaneous. The heavy, dark clouds seem to have their own life, swirling in a wild dance before unleashing their payload. Rain falls for the first time in possibly centuries. It begins as a light rain, but quickly becomes a violent downpour. The sound and smell of it are enticing. I watch in wonder as the barren desert begins to drink deeply, drinking up every precious drop. The rain pours harder and faster, darkening the sand with moisture and promising a future in which life can once again take hold. Day 14. Audio log, Max Torres. Final entry before Earth return. There is the sound of soft winds in the background, occasionally broken up by the distant call of an unknown creature. Log entry, Max Torres, 1 week after the activation of Kepler Earth Nova's terraforming network. If you're hearing this, it means we made it back, or at least, we're on our way. There's a pause, a deep breath taken, as if to gather thoughts. It's hard to believe what's happened in just a week. The transformation of Kepler Earth Nova, it's nothing short of miraculous. The desert sands that once dominated the landscape are giving way to something new, something alive. Everywhere you look, green shoots are pushing through the ground, defiant and strong. The barren world we landed on is finding its soul again. The sound of moving water is faintly audible, a testament to the changes described. The dry riverbeds that scarred the surface are running with water now. Lakes are forming, clear and deep, reflecting the alien sky with a clarity that's almost heartbreaking. It's a world reborn, all from the push of a button and the hope of a better future. Max's voice grows warmer and more animated. And Archimedes, the AI that's been my guide and my mentor on this journey. Without him, none of this would have been possible. I've made several trips to and from the mothership, which we've upgraded with the help of the technology found here. The ship's ready now, faster and more powerful than anyone could have imagined. Folding space-time and traveling distances in fractions of what it used to take is going to change everything. A soft chuckle, reflective, and filled with a sense of accomplishment. I'm preparing to return to Earth now. To say I'm the same man who crashed on this planet would be a lie. I've been changed by the planet, by Archimedes, by the entire ordeal. And I'm bringing back with me not just the hope of a new home for humanity, but the proof that it's possible. Out of hardship, out of the alien and the unknown, we can find salvation. The log entry seems to be nearing its end, with Max's voice taking on a tone of farewell. This might be my last entry before I leave Kepler Earth Nova. Looking out at the green sprouting up all around and the water flowing, it's hard not to feel a pang of, is it sadness? Pride? Maybe both. We've started something here, and it is something that will continue to grow long after we're gone, and that's worth every risk, every sacrifice. The winds and distant calls fade as the log ends, leaving a sense of hopeful anticipation for the future. Day 744. The sun rose over Kepler Earth Nova, its rays casting a warm light on the vibrant landscape below. Lush green forests stretched as far as the eye could see, dotted with colorful flowers and exotic plants. The once barren planet was now teeming with life, a testament to alien ingenuity, one man's tenacity, and the resilience of nature when given a chance to flourish. As the sunlight danced on the ocean's surface, multiple spacecraft appeared in orbit, their sleek forms glinting against the backdrop of space. One by one, they descended towards the planet, navigating through an atmosphere that was now rich with the promise of life. With a gentle touchdown, shuttle ships opened their doors, and people began to disembark onto the soft, verdant ground. Among them was Max Torres, who had been the lone astronaut to survive on this desolate world 2 years ago. His gaze swept over the thriving landscape with pride and awe. He had fought against all odds to give Kepler Earth Nova a second chance, and now he was witnessing the fruits of that labor. Trees towered above him, and vibrant flowers bloomed at his feet, a far cry from the barren wasteland he had awoken to. As more settlers, scientists, engineers, families, and dreamers stepped off the shuttles, Max turned to address them. "Welcome to Kepler Earth Nova," he said with a smile. His voice carried the weight of history and the promise of a new beginning as he looked out at his fellow colonists. They took in their new home for the first time, breathing in the fragrant air and listening to the distant crash of waves against the shore. This planet is now a haven for life, thanks to technology, determination, and a little help from an ancient artificial intelligence named Archimedes. Max knew that there would be challenges ahead for this growing colony, but they would face them together. They were building on the foundation he had helped lay, and Kepler Earth Nova would continue to thrive and evolve. It was a symbol of hope and a new beginning where the SANDS could be forgotten forever. The end. Thank you for listening to this story on G-Man's YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this story written and produced by G-Man, please like and think about subscribing, and look out for new stories in the near future.